So, hello everyone. I'm Dusanka, a learning and training team at Welcome Connecting Science. We are based in Kingston near Cambridge, and we organize trainings, also conferences. So I would just like to acknowledge the other authors of these slides, of this talk, who kind of embedded their bioinformatics. But I can't see this one. Sorry. Who embedded their kind of bioinformatics experience and knowledge into these courses I'm going to talk about. And I come from the educational aspect of course design, development, and evaluation. So, as I said, Welcome Connecting Science Learning and Training develops different formats of training. Among other, we have online courses where I kind of focus on, and we develop a specific type of the online courses, massive open online courses or MOOCs. And we've developed a series of two specifically for this talk courses called Bioinformatics for Biologists. I'll refer to them for B1 and 2 in the presentation. And they cover really introductory, the first one, and then a more kind of advanced by students, professionals working in bioinformatics or genomics, but also the courses are open publicly, so we always have among our target, among our audiences, different people who are, maybe looking for to learn a bit about data science. So we are, as the title of the courses are saying, this is for biologists. It's aimed at the people with biological, more life sciences background rather than computational. So they're hosted these courses on the social learning platform. I'll tell a few words a bit later about that. And they're free, and so they are really massive. So they have to start with, they kind of break the affordability and scalability barriers. These are the courses I'm talking about. So just quickly to see that the first one is very introductory, and the second one, it talks about Linux, R, and a bit of bash scripting. And the second one includes the bioinformatics, and then continues with the R as well. For more on the content of the courses, you can scan and see them on the platform. They're open. So my part in all of this is to guide the team of experts and on the course design development, and then also plan for the evaluation of this training. And these two short courses were developed, as I said, collaboratively between bioinformatics and educational specialists, run on a social learning platform that's underpinned by the social learning pedagogy, meaning almost every step in the platform has a conversational area at the bottom of the step, and people learners are actually encouraged to use this area to exchange their knowledge, to answer each other's questions, etc., which we are actually harnessing a lot. And in particular, the first course being designed back in 2020, 2021, used the ISCB, then ISCB Bioinformatics Competency Framework, the version back then. And actually, we've used it to detect the gaps in our online offerings in this topic. And it informed partly also the course curriculum. So these are the use case that's described in the references there. And then I have to say that both courses are very hands-on and practical, which is good for the learners, but it's very, very challenging for the design and development. And they guide learners on installing bioinformatics tools and for later, hopefully, real world application in their own context. So the focus of the talk is basically course evaluation. In particular, it's the formative evaluation we did. using a mixed method approach and using the many different sources, both quantitative and qualitative of data collected during the course and right after the course run. I'm talking about the evaluation of the first runs of both courses, which then led to the improvements of courses. So basically the emphasis of the evaluation, this formative evaluation, was to identify the recurring barriers to learning and training as well, which I will mention later. And we've used the platform analytics that provides you with the different numbers of learners, enrollers, active learners, leavers, etc. Then we've used the post-course and exit surveys, post-course surveys that ask learners about the knowledge acquired and the application during the course, etc. And in particular, exit surveys that ask leavers of people who leave the course to actually give the specific reason for leaving. These, I'm talking about small numbers, but still. And then on the qualitative side, we had thematic analysis of the learner comments, because as I said, every step is a conversational area, and we collect a lot of learners' comments, which we can look at. And our facilitators, educators that I mentioned on the course, they also have a structured observation notes. They also take notes during the facilitation, and part of that notes is dedicated to the barriers. We also, on the second course, we also used the Slack communication channel, sort of real-time troubleshooting during the live course presentation. And then that content also informed the further improvements. So we've also done, for the first course, we've also done the summative evaluation, kind of impact evaluation in terms of the knowledge acquired on the course and how it's been applied in the context of the learners and whether that application was successful. So that one is presented at the 2022 Coblet Symposium, and the references are there. So just about the formative evaluation, not surprisingly, what we found is the time constraints, many technical difficulties, sometimes mismatched expectation for the content level, and a very few accessibility challenges, but still mentioned. So I'm just going to go through this quickly and addressing time constraints. So most often cited reason when the learners leave course is the time. They don't have time to do it, lack of time. And we were looking at the employment status of our cohorts. So these are cumulative stats for the first course and the second course. And you can see that over 60% of learners are full-time workers, or students, and additional more than 10% are self-employed or work part-time, and so many struggling to balance coursework with the personal and professional responsibilities. So this is kind of a general reason, maybe not connected directly to our courses, but we do recognize that our audiences are busy professionals, and we've transitioned these courses recently to on-demand. And once learners are registered, they can do the course at their own pace for a year. So these courses are kind of run in a semi-synchronous manner, because when they're open for the duration of the so-called live duration is 3 weeks, when the educators and are facilitating the course. And then after that, learners can still register, access the material, and they will see probably and can discuss the material with other learners, but they can just do it at their own pace and not kind of in a synchronous manner. So it's okay. So these are the same cumulative stats for the self-employment. So another issue, which is really a big issue, is for an online course, is the how you design for a enormous range of different hardware, software, operating system that people use when access your online course. So we had specific issues like access to Linux environment, software, hardware incompatibility, different internet characteristics, etc. So all we could do is do active facilitation, encourage our educators to actively help the learners during at least that live period of the course. And as I said, we harness this kind of social learning philosophy that underpins, and it's built into the platform, which is really good because learners from our cohorts, some of them are professional, they've tried something, it works, they say to other learners, you know, this works, share links, etc. So they would really like to encourage the peer support. Obviously, in subsequent rounds, we would give clear guidance, and in particular, we would provide fallback, so-called. So, for example, if for a learner not to be stuck in a particular step in a course, we provide a fallback. If they cannot, for example, generate, I don't know, output from a software, then we can expected result we can generate and attach the steps so that they can move to the further step with the further analysis. We also used alternative setups, cloud-based solutions, etc., replacing one software with alternative. And what we found also that there were some, for this type of courses, this kind of platform, the high standards of accessibility that they maintain basically pose a training facilitation barrier, because in the conversational area, it is not possible to attach any kind of image. So, for example, screenshots with the error messages, which would help with debugging and actually learning, were not able to see. So that's kind of was a part of a problem. So the next one is the content level. So we are dealing here with massive and very uneven audiences, and every cohort is different. And they are learners of very different archetypes. So, and the proportion of these learners' archetypes are different for every cohort. So in every cohort, you have people who just run through the course and say this is too easy or this is too difficult. But we often hear that this is why we have to provide sort of self-assessing exercises and this kind of formative assessment that helps learners see where they are with the learning and maybe go back into the material to catch up. Linking resources, providing glossary and specific steps we provided for the actual help so that we can locate the learners' questions more easily. We compiled the frequently asked questions and attached them, etc. In the first course, we heard people want more advanced courses and using a real world data rather than the toy data that was used in the first one. So that informed the design of the second course as well. Accessibility was not a huge problem, but what we contributed to the already inbuilt features that FutureLearn's platform has, like alt text and expandable images if they're a small font, use transcript and subtitles for every video or screencast, and then also fallback resources I've already mentioned. So in some steps, so we would provide, if learners cannot generate what they need to generate to go to the next step, we would provide results or output of a software run. So here again, there is a mismatch between the very high standards accessibility, actually for this particular type of course created a training barrier. So am I over time? Okay. We've reached a lot of learners from all over the world. Active learners means these are the people who actually do something in the course as opposed to just enrolling on the course. But these are enrollments. And you can see there is interest and access from all over this is the first course and the second. So just in conclusions, courses provide inclusive and impactful bioinformatics training, in our opinion, and breaking affordability, scalability barriers. The format evaluation that we did led to course improvements, and we could see that the subsequent run showed smoother delivery, especially in the weeks, was better sentiment, or more positive sentiment in the weeks where the changes were made. And I just leave you with two nice reviews or praises for our courses.
So we've got time for a question.
Hi, thanks for the talk. So I would have one question. How often would you change your curriculum? Because on one side, we have so many advances you can see for the conferences every year, completely new, not completely, but there are a lot of new things coming up. And on the other side, when you want decently to make a change, you need time. So how often do you say it's like, okay, now it's time to do some,
So
how often do they?
you look at the curriculum before every subsequent round. And the courses do need the next update. That's definitely true. But these kind of basic skills that they teach, especially people coming from biological and life sciences backgrounds, are still in need. So we find that people need these, but the courses, yes, we check the curriculum and you know, before every next run.
Thank you. I'm afraid we are at time, so we're going to